Hi, good morning. Today we are going to start our next section, section 19. This is also a continuation of our automorphism. Just recall what we have discussed in our last class. We have discussed E sigma I is a subfield, okay, and we have proved one problem. Now, what is E sigma I? E sigma I set of all A belongs to E such that sigma I of A equal to A for every I. Now, there is the next theorem. The theorem says that the set of all automorphism of a field E is a group under function composition. That means if you consider all automorphisms of E, that means set of all sigma such that sigma is an automorphism from E to E. This set form a group under function composition. Composition of functions, this set form a group. Okay, to prove this form a group, what we have to prove? We have to prove that operation is closed. Okay, additive identity exists, additive inverse exists, then associativity holds. Okay, so first let sigma 1 and sigma 2 be any two automorphism of E. Then sigma 1 composition sigma 2 is a homomorphism. Okay, as it is a both sigma 1 from E to E, sigma 2 from E to E. E to E. So clearly sigma 1 composition sigma 2 from E to E, which is also a homomorphism. Also both sigma 1 and sigma 2 1 1, therefore sigma 1 composition sigma 2 is 1 1. Similarly both are onto, therefore sigma 1 composition sigma 2 is onto. Therefore sigma 1 composition sigma 2 is an isomorphism from E into itself. Therefore sigma 1 composition sigma 2 is an automorphism. That means sigma 1 composition sigma 2 belongs to our set of all automorphism. Okay. So here operation is defined as composition. So multiplication of automorphism of E defined by function composition, and we know that function composition is actually associative. Composition of function is associative. Therefore, this operation is associative. Okay, this complete set is associative under the operation function composition. Okay, now if you consider the identity map is clearly one to one on to, also it is a homomorphism property, therefore it is an automorphism. And also if you consider any sigma I, then clearly sigma I of some alpha equal to sigma of I of alpha, and which is equal to sigma of alpha, therefore sigma I equal to sigma. Similarly, I sigma equal to sigma. Therefore, we get identity element also exists. Now we have to prove inverse element sigma inverse belongs to this set. That means we have to prove sigma inverse is an automorphism. Okay. Now sigma 1 1 on 2 implies sigma inverse is also 1 to 1 and on 2. Sigma inverse is also now we have to prove sigma inverse is also a homomorphism. So to prove the sigma inverse is a homomorphism, you take A comma B belongs to E. This implies there exists a alpha comma beta belongs to A such that sigma alpha equal to A, sigma beta equal to B. Okay. Now sigma inverse of A star B equal to sigma inverse of sigma of A. You can write as from this A, you can write as alpha equal to sigma inverse A. As sigma is 1 to 1 and on to it is invertible, therefore we can write like this. Similarly, beta you can write as sigma inverse of B. Okay, so here we have we are replacing A by sigma alpha and B by sigma beta. So this is actually sigma is an homomorphism, sigma of alpha star beta, and this is sigma inverse composition sigma of alpha beta, which is equal to I alpha beta, and this is equal to alpha beta, but alpha is sigma inverse A and beta is sigma inverse B. Therefore sigma inverse A star B equal to sigma inverse A star sigma inverse B, which implies sigma inverse is a homomorphism. Okay, so what we get? Sigma inverse is an isomorphism. Sigma inverse is a homomorphism, one to one and on to, and it is from E to E. Therefore, sigma inverse is also an automorphism. Thus, we get set of all automorphisms of E form a subgroup of the set of all permutation on E. Because what is permutation on E? Permutation on E means it is a one to one on to map. Okay, from E to E. And here set of all automorphisms is also a one to one and on to, and it is from E to E. Therefore, it is a subgroup of set of all permutation on E, and which is a subgroup of SE. Clear? So, here what we have considered collection of all automorphism on E, and and it form a group. Now that group okay. Now let E be a field and F be a subfield of E. Then the set G of E over F of all automorphism of E, leaving F fixed, form a subgroup of the group of all automorphism of E. So now we have proved group of all, the set of all automorphism of E form a group. Okay, and that form a group. Now here we are going to prove G of E over F means this consists of all automorphism of E leaving F fixed. That means this consists for all sigma belongs to G of E over F, sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to F. This set form a subgroup of group of automorphism. Okay. So for proving this, what we have to prove? We have to prove this is a subset of group or automorphism also. Similarly, composition operation closed, identity element exists, inverse element exists, etc. So we have G of E over F is set of all sigma such that sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to F. G of E over F. Now let sigma comma tau belongs to G of E over F. Then sigma of A equal to A, tau of A equal to A. Okay, for every A belongs to A. Now sigma tau of A equal to sigma of tau of A, and tau of A is A, which is equal to sigma of A. Okay, and sigma of A equal to A. So sigma tau of A equal to A we get, and this is true for every A belongs to F. Therefore, sigma tau belongs to G of E over F. So operation is closed. Now consider the identity automorphism I from E to E. Clearly I of A equal to A for every A belongs to E. Therefore, it is true for every A belongs to F, which implies I also belongs to G of E over F. Now let sigma belongs to G of E over F. Sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to F, which implies sigma inverse of A equal to A for every A belongs to F. That is sigma inverse belongs to G of E over F. Okay. So G of E over F, the group, thus G of E over F is the subgroup of group of all automorphism of E. So G of E over F consists of O sigma such that sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to F. This consists of all automorphism sigma from E to E, which satisfies the condition sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to F. This is a subgroup of group of all automorphism, that is set of all sigma such that sigma from E to E. This is a subgroup. Okay. Now what we have to prove next? We have to prove furthermore F is a subgroup of E over G of E over F. Now what is E over G of E over F? What is E over sigma I? E over sigma I is set of all A belongs to E such that sigma I of A equal to A for every I. Now E over G of E over F means what? Set of all A belongs to E such that sigma of A equal to A for every sigma belongs to G of E over F. Okay. But we know that for every A belongs to F, sigma of A equal to A. Okay. Sorry. If sigma belongs to G of E over F, then sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to F. Okay. Therefore, if you take any A belongs to F, therefore, if A belongs to F, then sigma of A equal to A for every sigma belongs to G of E over F. If sigma belongs to G of E or then sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to. Therefore, for every A belongs to A, sigma of A equal to A for every sigma belongs to G of E over F. That means if A belongs to F, then A belongs to F, then A belongs to this set. E over G of E over F. That means F is a subfield of subgroup of E of subfield of E of G of E over F. Once again, we have G of E over F is this one. Therefore, if sigma belongs to G of E over F, then sigma of A equal to A for every A belongs to F. This is true for every sigma belongs to G of E over F. Therefore, if A belongs to F, then sigma of A equal to A for every sigma belongs to G of E over F. Hence, every element of F is left fixed by every element of G of E over F. Now, the field E over G of E over F equal to set of all A belongs to E such that sigma of E equal to for every sigma belongs to G or E over F contains F. That is F is a subfield of this. Okay. So this group G of E over F defined in this theorem is the group of all automorphism of E leaving F fixed or group of E over F. Group of E over F means group of all automorphism of E leaving F fixed. Okay. Now moving to one problem. Compute group of G of Q of root 2 root 3 over Q. And this consists of all automorphism on Q of root 2 root 3 leaving Q fixed. Okay. So consider this field. So Q of root 2 root 3 equal to Q of root 2 of root 3 or which is equal to Q of root 3 of root 2. By conjugation isomorphism psi root 2 root 3 you can map like this and psi root 2 root 3 root 2 minus root 2 of a plus b root 2 is equal to a minus b root 2. Okay. Therefore, for every a comma b belongs to q of root 3 is an automorphism. For every a comma b belongs to q of root 3, this condition holds. Is an automorphism of q of root 2 root 3 root 2. Okay. Therefore psi root 3 root 2 minus root 2 of a plus b root 2 equal to a plus b root 2 implies we get this one and this one which implies b equal to 0. Therefore, psi root 2 minus root 2 of a plus b root 2 equal to a plus b root 2 implies b must be equal to 0. Therefore, psi root 2 root 3 is an automorphism of q of root 2 root 3 q having q of root 3 as a fixed field. Okay. Similarly, we have psi of root 2 root 3 minus root 3 from q of root 3 having q of root 2 as a fixed field. Since product of automorphism is again an automorphism, we can consider the composition psi root 2 minus root 2 composition psi root 3 minus root 3, which moves clearly both root 2 and root 3. If we consider this map that moves root 3 and root 3. Psi root 3 minus root 3 moves root 3 to minus root 3. Psi root 2 minus root 2 maps root 2 to minus root 2. So if you consider composition, this composition maps moves both root 2 and root 3. Okay. So, okay. So if you calculate psi root 2 minus root 2 composition psi root 3 minus root 3. This of a plus b root 2 plus c root 3 plus d root 6 clearly become, this is actually psi root 2 minus root 2 to a plus b root 2 minus c root 3 minus d root 6, and this is equal to a minus b root 2 minus c root 3 plus d root 6. Okay, so what we get, this leaves both root 2 and root 3. Now, if you consider identity map automorphism, and which leaves every element of Q of root 2 and root 3 fixed. Okay. So here also, okay. So if you take sigma 1 as psi root 2 minus root 2, sigma 2 as psi root 3 minus root 3, and sigma 3 as composition, then if you consider Gi, G, okay, here also this is actually leaves, if you consider this composition, and this is equal to a plus b root 2 plus c root etc. We get clearly q of root 6. Okay, if you consider q of root 6, then clearly this composition maps q of root 6 as fixed. Okay, so in all the case, q which leaves in the all these maps leaves q fixed. Okay, so there is actually there exist only 4 automorphism on q of root 2 root 3 to q of root 2 root 3. Now we have to check whether this form a group. So this is the composition table. If you apply sigma 1, sigma 1, again we get I, sigma 1, sigma 2, we get sigma 3, and again operator we get this one. Okay. Since every automorphism of a field leaves I, and hence prime field is fixed field. Okay. Now G of root 3, root 2, root 3 has a fixed field and thus must contain Q. Now E of G of Q over Q of root 2, root 3 over Q equal to set of all A belongs to Q of root 2, root 3 such that sigma of A equal to A for every sigma belongs to G of root 2, root 3 over Q. By this corollary, for every tau belongs to Q of root 2, root 3, either tau maps root 2 to plus or root 3. Similarly, tau maps root 3 to either plus or plus or minus root 3. The basis for Q of root 2, root 3 is 1, root 2, root 3, root 6, and root 6 is same as root 2 into root 3. Therefore, an automorphism of Q of root 2 root 3 which leaves leaving Q is fixed is determined by its values of root 2 and root 3. Therefore, there exist only 4 possibilities. I, sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3 give all possible combination of values of root 2 and root 3, and hence all possible automorphisms of Q of root 2 root 3. So, actually G of Q of root 2 root 3 over Q contains only 4 automorphism, that is I, sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3. Okay, now moving to our last theorem, Frobenius automorphism. This is usually asked for exam. Let F be a finite field of characteristic P, then the map sigma P from F to F defined by sigma P of A equal to A raised to P is an automorphism, and it is called Frobenius automorphism. Finally, we have to show that F under Frobenius automorphism is isomorphic to set P. Proof is very easy. So here given F is a finite field of characteristic P, and we have to prove that the sigma P is an automorphism. Okay. So let a comma b belongs to f, sigma p of a plus b equal to a plus b all raised to p, and yes, it is of field of characteristic p, a plus b all raised to p is of a plus a raised to p plus b raised to p. Therefore sigma p of a plus b equal to sigma p of a plus sigma p of b, because sigma p of a is a raised to p, sigma p of b is b raised to p. Similarly, sigma b of a raised to p equal to a raised to b raised to p, and a raised to p is sigma p of a and sigma p of b. So for sigma p from f to f is a homomorphism. Now we have to prove it is one to one and on to. It is enough to prove sigma p is 1 1. It is enough to prove kernel of sigma p equal to set 0. Now what is kernel of sigma p? Equal to set of all a belongs to f such that sigma p of a equal to 0. That means set of all a belongs to f such as a raised to p equal to 0. That is kernel of sigma p equal to which is equal to set of all a belongs to f such that a raised to p equal to 0. And that is possible only if a equal to 0, because a raised to p equal to 0 implies a equal to 0, because f is a field and it has no zero divisors. So a raised to p means a raised to p equal to 0. This is implies either a equal to 0 or p minus, either a equal to 0 or a raised to p minus. So if a not equal to 0, then a raised to p minus. Like this we proceed like this, we get a must be equal to 0. So kernel sigma p must be equal to 0. Since f is a finite field, it is onto. We have a result. If a and b are finite with cardinality of a equal to cardinality b, f from a to b 1 1, f and only if f is onto. Therefore, sigma p is an automorphism. Thus, we get first we have proved sigma p is a homomorphism. Sigma p of a plus b equal to sigma p of a plus sigma p of b. Similarly, sigma p of ab equal to sigma p of a into sigma p of b. Okay, then we have proved sigma p is 1 to 1, and as it is a finite field, it is onto. Therefore, sigma p is an automorphism of f. Okay, so the first part is over, and the last part is f sigma p is isomorphic to set p. Now what is f sigma p? F sigma p is set of all a belongs to f such that sigma p of a equal to a. Okay, f belongs to f such that sigma p of a. Okay, now which is equal to set of all a belongs to f such that a raised to p equal to a. Therefore, f sigma p equal to set of all a belongs to f such that a raised to p minus a equal to 0. Now we have to prove that f sigma p is isomorphic to set p. That means we have to prove, okay. Now, if C belongs to set P, we have C raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P by Fermat's theorem. A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. That is C raised to P is congruent to C mod P. Okay. So by Fermat's theorem, we have C raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. Okay. So if C belongs to set P, we have C raised to P minus 1 congruent to 1 mod P. And that means C raised to P is congruent to C mod P. That means C raised to P minus C is a multiple of P. Clear? C, once again, if C belongs to set P, finally we get C raised to P minus C is a multiple of P. That means C raised to P minus C is equal to 0 in ZP. Because something is equal to some 4 set and 8 set. Okay. So if you consider 4 set or 8 set, these are multiples of, for example, if you consider set 5. If you consider number 25, this is a multiple of 5. Therefore, this is equal to 0 in set 20, set 5. Similarly, C raised to P minus C is a multiple of P, means C raised to P minus C equal to 0 in set P. That means set P is contained in F sigma P, because What is F sigma P is set of all A belongs to F. F is F is a field of characteristic P. Clearly, set P is contained in F. Okay. So, F sigma P is set of all A belongs to F such that A raised to P minus A equal to 0. And we get, if you take any C belongs to set P, then we get C raised to P minus C equal to 0 in set P. Okay. Equal to 0. So, that C must belongs to F sigma P. That means set P is contained in F sigma P. So there are P elements in F, okay, because this has P zeros. Because clearly set P contains P elements. So there are P elements in F. Okay. Now F sigma P is the collection of all zeros of the polynomial x raised to P minus x equal to 0 in F. Okay, F sigma P is this equal to 0 and these are zeros of the polynomial x raised to P minus x. But x raised to P minus x has at most P zeros in F. But F sigma P already contains P elements. Therefore, we get F sigma P is isomorphic to ZP. Therefore, F sigma P is equal to ZP. Okay, that's all for today's class.